Welcome to Trailblazer Academy. Class is now in session. Here are your professors, Caleb and Christian.
Good morning, class. You may be seated. Today's lesson is on the monk. This is part of our class overview series covering all the classes available to players, and right now we're on the core classes. The class description from the book: for the truly exemplary, martial skill transcends the battlefield. It is a lifestyle, a doctrine, a state of mind. These warrior artists search out methods of battle beyond swords and shields, finding weapons within themselves, just as capable of crippling or killing as any blade. Well, maybe the true weapons we use to kill our foes are the friends we made along the way, Caleb.
Christian, when you think about it, that first sentence could be applied to anything. It could be applied to, I don't know, the furry fandom. Not that that would be the first thing that come to mind. I'm just saying.
For the truly exemplary, the craft of making macaroni and cheese transcends the kitchen. It's a lifestyle, a doctrine,
and a state of mind. I also do like how we both had jokes ready in the chamber, and neither of us cared about what the other person had to say. We just need to get our jokes out.
Isn't that just our podcast in a nutshell?
I guess it is.
So the monk is our mystic, key-wielding warrior. A man from a monastery on the mountains that honed his body and mind into a master of martial arts. The monk has always been a bit of a standout in our medieval fantasy world and has had a little trouble fitting in both narratively and mechanically. But we're in luck today. This is the first class that I'm going to get to speak about from first-person experience. Little known fact about me, Caleb, I did martial arts from when I was like 10 years old until I was like 12 years old. And I got high up in the belts. Like, I was like one away from black belt.
Stop the presses. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I was almost a black belt. I was unironically, I was high up in the rankings for the belts. I forget the exact coloring system, mind you.
Christian, do you remember any of it? Could you beat me up now? Fight me!
I remember very little. I could probably still kick you in the head. That was like my specialty. I was the head kicker. It was no one invented the move before me.
Oh, don't go near him. That's our head kicker. It's a really easy way to defeat him. Just block your head.
I would have been much better at it.
Is this a baseball team? His is our pitch hitter, and this is our head kicker.
I could say certainly I would be able to beat you up if I kept doing it, but martial arts was on Friday nights, and you know what else started airing on Friday nights?
What?
Codename Kids Next Door. And do you know what 12-year-old Christian chose to spend his Friday nights doing? Either A, making his physical body and mind better for the rest of his life, or B, watching a show for like 2 weeks and getting bored of it.
I'm feeling personally attacked right now.
I think I made the decision any 12-year-old would make.
It's true. As an adult, you hone your body and you take very good care of that temple. And meanwhile, I'm still watching shows. No, I'm not watching Code Next Door thing. I am watching Code Geass, and that's an anime.
There's a code.
It's not an American anime, like Code Next Door.
So I'm gonna be judging all the monk's abilities based on what I can and can't do.
Good. All right. This is unrealistic. You couldn't even hit someone's head with this move. Question for you: when we think about the fantasy of a monk, a lot you even mentioned it. The guy from the monastery upstairs. The guy from.
They're really noisy.
On the mountain. A lot of chanting all the time. It's really annoying. A lot of floor scrubbing. Is this something is it like the cleric where it's really tied in with the religious aspect?
There actually is no specific religious aspect. There is a god that became, or a monk that became a god, Aurori. He has literally a perfect body and mind and was a normal person and transcended into a god by becoming perfect. But you don't necessarily have to worship him at all in the lore of, Pathfinder or Golarion.
Let me look this up. Perfect mind and body, Aurori. It's just a picture of you. I don't understand. Wow, it's been so long since Caleb and Christian recorded an episode. I can't wait to hear about the monk. What's this? 10 minutes of jokes before they actually talk about the monk? This is what I tuned in for.
I'm going to delay a little bit more because I do have to preface this with, it's 2021. We're like a decade late on this one. Unchained Monk exists, and I can't pretend like it doesn't exist when we talk about this. So I am going to mention it a few times, but do know that the Chained Monk does have valid uses in that the archetypes for monk really only work for the chained original monk. It does not work for the unchanged monk because a lot of the class abilities have changed, at least in name and slightly in function. So you can't use most archetypes.
And whenever we do any class, whether it has a chain version or not, we're going to teach you how to play it so you can play it if you want to. We'll be honest about the parts we don't like or think don't work, but you should be able to play any class that we do an episode on. We talked about how they don't necessarily have to be religious, but there is an alignment restriction. You do have to be lawful.
Yes. One of the few alignment restrictions in the game. They have a D8 hit dice.
They get 4 plus their intelligence skill points per level.
Their class skills are acrobatics, climb, craft, escape artist, intimidate, knowledge history and religion, perception, performance, profession, ride, sense motive, stealth, and swim. Pretty good list, honestly. Not a bad one.
A lot of physical stuff there. They got like the acrobatics and the climbing, allowing you to do that sort of that you would expect a monk could do. They got a 3/4 BAB progression.
Can we get a big oof in the chat for Monk's base attack bonus, the martial class, the class that goes in and punches people and has a perfect body? They get 3/4. They don't get full BAB. They're already not perfect. They lied to me. I have full BAB. I'm just saying. So this one can't be right.
We're just going to get a bunch of tweets and messages in our Discord that just say oof. You know, when this publishes way later after we record it, we'll be like, what? Why is everyone just saying oof at us?
Why is anyone talking to us on Twitter? That doesn't happen.
Christian, it's too close to home, please.
But to save their 3/4 BAB, they do have all good saving throws. All 3 saving throws are on the positive good track, which is unprecedented. I don't think anyone else does that off the top of my head.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Not even Unchained Monk. That's actually something that changed in Unchained Monk.
They don't have any casting, and they scale off of wisdom. Well, it's good. You know, it's always good to have a class that just scales off of one thing.
Well, they are a martial class, so they are going to care about physical scores, but a lot of their mysticism abilities are going to come off of wisdom. And we actually see that they do have like perception and sense motive as class skills, so, you know, they seem pretty synergistic right now in how they're set up.
I thought I was setting up for a joke. Isn't this class known as a mad class?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, they need basically every ability score but charisma. And intelligence.
I would love it if like there was just like one key ability that scales off of charisma.
Oni.
But you're saying they need, you know, the strength for physical damage. They're going to need their dexterity for their AC and their initiative. I guess that's everybody.
Constitution for health because they're melee.
Oh, yeah. And then wisdom, of course, because things scale off of wisdom. And why would they need intelligence?
They don't really, honestly. You don't want to go into the negatives because you only get 4 skill points per level. Yeah. But 10 will probably serve you. Okay. Now, their proficiencies are a little bit different than a lot of other classes. They get a lot of exotic stuff here. They're proficient with the club, the crossbow, dagger, hand axe, javelin, and then some weird stuff. The kama, the nunchuck, the quarterstaff, the sai, the short spear, the short sword, shuriken, singham, sling, and spear. They are not proficient with any armor or any shield.
Now I see why you say their dex is important.
If they are ever caught wearing armor, using a shield, or carrying a medium or heavy load, a monk loses his AC bonus, which we'll talk about, it's very important, as well as his fast movement and flurry of blows ability. Also, very important. So, do not wear armor. Don't let anyone catch you tripping up in armor.
Don't worry, I'm sure there's some archetype for an armored monk.
I don't think so. I can honestly say I don't think one exists. And I don't wear armor, so that makes sense to me.
I mean, Christian, after a quick Google, I found one in Ultimate Combat called Sohei, Sohei, that lets you have light armor. So take that.
Oh, they're the mounted combatant. I forgot about it. I didn't know they did that. Weird.
Anyway, there's archetypes for everything. This literally means nothing. Let's move on to what they get at level 1, my boy. That AC bonus you were talking about. Tell me all about it.
So AC bonus. As long as you are unarmored and unencumbered, the monk adds their wisdom bonus to their AC and their CMD.
Wow.
The monk gains a +1 AC bonus this way at 4th level and every 4 levels thereafter. So you're just going to get a +1 AC for free on top of this, and it'll scale up over time. And these bonuses apply against touch attacks and when flat-footed. You lose these bonuses when immobilized and helpless. So yeah, this is kind of a crux for being an unarmored person. You need something to give you AC, and AC bonus is going to be one of the main ways you're going to do that. Something super important to note here is that this is an untyped bonus. This is just an AC bonus with absolutely no type, meaning it applies to like almost everything. And also them getting the bonus here to their combat maneuver defense is a big deal because they don't have full BAB, so it's nice to have a little bonus to their CMD. And monk typically is good at grappling and tripping in a lot of the maneuvers. They tend to be one of the hardest classes to maneuver against because of this.
I really like things like this that have a very basic, like it almost looks purely rule based, but does give you a little bit of lore. It means your touch AC is going up as well with this. That means you can dodge or not get hit by bullets. And that's very monkish to catch a bullet out of the air or move so fast that you're faster than a bullet. I really like that a lot. Good little flavor in something that's so mechanical.
I've caught several bullets in my lifetime.
Christian, stop. Yes, with what, your chest?
Yes, I stopped it, didn't I?
It wasn't a through and through. Take that. Black belt, give it to me.
I'm good at dodgeball, so I think I have a wisdom bonus to AC.
Now, this sounds like it's going to be really good on the earlier levels when your ability score is established, you pump up your wisdom. But at later levels, your wisdom is going to be going up very high or by a lot. It's kind of going to taper off, it feels like.
And you're getting that scaling bonus along the way, which is nice. But typically, this is going to bring Monk up to the level of everyone else. This isn't going to make Monk better at having AC. Honestly, Monk's usually going to have slightly lower AC than most other martial classes. So the fighter's definitely going to have higher AC. The rogue is probably going to have higher dex because they don't care about as many stats. The monk is going to be okay AC-wise, but they're going to be very good against touch attacks, and they're going to be very good at being caught flat-footed, which is something most other classes can't say to their name.
The next thing they get is Unarmed Strike. They gain Improved Unarmed Strike as a bonus feat. You can strike with your fist, elbows, knees, and feet. You can choose to deal non-lethal damage still with no penalty on the attack roll. And their Unarmed Strike is treated as both a manufactured and natural weapon for spells and effects that improve such things. And they deal more damage with their fists, as shown on a table on their page or in the book. Question, Christian. What do you mean by their Unarmed Strike is treated both as a manufactured weapon? You don't mean like I can enchant my hands, right? You mean as it comes to damage reduction and stuff, right?
Well, it says for spells and effects that improve such things. So there are going to be certain spells that they say they'll only work on a manufactured weapon and they won't work on just a natural attack or unarmed strike. You get to count your unarmed strike as being a valid target of those types of spells and effects.
So like cleric or a bard casts a spell that will normally enchant someone's weapon for a brief amount of time. They can cast it on your fist.
Yes.
Gotcha.
But no, you can't directly say enchant your fists with +1 or
my hands
flaming.
are +1. These hands are registered as
Get ready to catch these +1 hands.
What was that movie? There was a movie where they were kind of making fun of Bruce Lee for saying that, and he goes, "These hands are registered as deadly weapons. I kill somebody with these hands, I go to jail." And the guy goes, "Yeah, that's manslaughter. Anyone kills somebody with their hands, they would go to jail." Now, Christian, another thing. Boy, guys, I keep telling myself I'm going to stop using Christian's name. At this point, is it just iconic? Should I just embrace it? Christian, you let me know. But you said you could strike with your fists, elbows, knees, and feet. Is that just for the purposes of like role-playing? Oh, his hands are restrained. Don't worry, I can still kick you. Or am I grappled? I can still elbow you. These sort of things?
Yes, exactly. If you're restrained in some way, like if your hands are bound, you can still kick people, for instance.
So you have to like hog tie somebody. You're like, I can still headbutt. Oh no, headbutt's not listed. Oh no!
Which I found weird. I was like, that was the first one. I was like, I could definitely headbutt people, right? I could definitely hip check people, right? I mean, I could hip check people.
No, that's the special hockey archetype.
The Canuck monk.
Christian, tell me about Flurry of Blows. Oh, come on. No.
It's too easy. It's too easy. I'm sorry.
Thank you. If you laugh at my mistakes, I have to leave them in. Tell me about Flurry of Blows.
You almost got it a second time there. Okay, so Caleb, real quick, what I want you to do before I start reading through this, can you start a timer for me?
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, so don't start yet. So these are my abbreviated notes of Flurry of Blows. This is one of your core mechanics as Monk that you need to understand in depth. 3, 2, 1, start. As a full attack action, you can make a flurry of blows. This must be with your unarmed strikes or a weapon with the monk quality, such as the nunchuck, the quarterstaff, the shuriken. They have a little type of weapon, and if it has the monk type, then you can flurry of blows with it. You may attack as if you were using 2-weapon fighting. You have to look up the 2-weapon fighting rules now. You treat your BAB as your class level for these attacks. So, when we are now using our flurry of blows, we are now full BAB. You add your full strength modifier to damage. Back to the 2-weapon fighting rules, if you were fighting with your offhand, you would apply half your strength modifier to attacks with your offhand. I know it said that you were using 2-weapon fighting, but you're not really using 2-weapon fighting. You get to add your full strength. It's okay. It makes sense. You may substitute a disarm, sunder, or trip maneuver for any of these attacks, which is pretty cool. At 8th level, you are treated as having improved 2-weapon fighting. Go look up the rules for that. At 15th level, you are treated as having greater 2-weapon fighting. Now go look up how that works. So how does this look at level 1? 2-weapon fighting. You make a 4-round attack. You're using 2-weapon fighting, so you take a -2 to all of your attack rolls this turn, but you get to attack with like your right hand and then your left hand, and you make 1 attack with each. Time.
1 minute and 34 seconds.
Okay, cool. I am now going to, from memory, repeat the way it works for Unchained Monk. Caleb, are you ready on the timer?
I'm ready. 3, 2, 1, begin.
Whenever you make a full round attack, you can make an additional attack with your unarmed strike or a monk weapon. Time.
8 seconds.
Wow. Ooh, look at that good game design that we're missing out on by reading original
Here we
Monk.
go.
This is an absolute mess of an ability.
A couple questions come to mind immediately. One, are you telling me I pretty much have to have almost like another character sheet that is these tracks? What would my BAB be at this level? And what would my 2-weapon fighting look like at this level?
Correct. 100% correct. You
Joy of
basically
joys.
have to, you will be making separate entries on your character sheet and different weapons for calculating this. Because not only do you now have to heighten your attack bonus as if you had full BAB, and you have to know the difference between your current BAB and full BAB, you now also have to apply the 2-weapon fighting penalty of a -2. It's really confusing. It's not confusing. It's actually, it makes sense, but why go through all these hoops if I'm going to raise it and then lower it again? Why not just start me off on the right track? Like, why am I jumping through all these hoops just to punch someone an additional time?
My second question is this. Sometimes when things are more complicated, they allow for a little more finesse. Because this is more complicated, even though it's harder to understand quickly, does it allow a little more finesse? Is it kind of like a little more effective?
I'd say no. I'd say there's nothing that it benefits from being the actual 2-weapon fighting rules that you could like exploit or do a niche little trick with. Especially because it's not really 2-weapon fighting. It basically reads, this acts like 2-weapon fighting, except in all the following ways in which it does not act like 2-weapon fighting. Why did we bring 2-weapon fighting into this at all?
A third question is, if I replace one of the attacks with one of those maneuvers, do I then, when I make a next attack, use the lower number or the number that it would have been? Let me explain that better. So say I attack at, I'm making these numbers up, they're not correct. You know, a +10, +5, and then a +3. If I attack a +10, and then when my +5 attack, I instead do a combat maneuver, and then for my third attack, would I use that +5 or would I use that +3?
So you would use the +3. You would use basically the resultant modifier from 2-weapon fighting and full BAB applied to your combat maneuver bonus.
So it really does replace that attack.
Your attack bonus and your combat maneuver bonus might not be the same, depending on feats and all that kind of stuff. So if you are replacing one of your iterative attacks with Flurry of Blows with a maneuver, you'd have to look at your CMB, you would have to calculate it as if you had full BAB, and then -2, and then minus however much penalty you're getting for which iterative attack it is. I hate that made sense to me. I absolutely hate that I could say that and it made sense.
Wow, so you get a penalty on them.
Yep, because you're 2-weapon fighting.
Interesting.
Any kind of bonus or penalty that's applying to attack, if you're subbing a maneuver for that attack, same thing applies.
If Christian's wrong, you guys write in at Christian, can you get your personal email real quick? So I don't have to read it. And my last question is for you is this. Why the monk weapons? What's so special about them that I wouldn't just punch?
So it's stuff like you can make weapons out of different materials. You can't make your fist out of cold iron.
Gotcha.
Weapons are going to have different damage types as well. You can really only deal bludgeoning damage with your unarmed strikes. You could deal slashing or piercing damage with monk weapons. Some monk weapons have unique properties that are actually really useful. I think there's at least one monk weapon that has reach, so you can flurry of blows with a reach weapon. There's at least one monk weapon that is a two-handed weapon, and that's something I forget exactly how that works off the top of my head. I forget if you get to apply the 1.5 times damage bonus if your flurries of blowing with a two-handed weapon. There's so much going on here.
Well, Christian, earlier you said that we can't pretend that we're not in our current year, that things have come out. And a lot of people, I would like to say most people, are using software to manage their character sheets, and they can just click a button and it does all the calculations for them.
True. That is true.
Well, it's an iconic part of the Monk's toolkit.
Yeah, iconic in that it is aesthetically cool, but is also an absolute nightmare logistically. A few other little fun tidbits here about Flurry of Blows. You get to attack with Flurry of Blows as if you have full BAB, but you do not have full BAB. You do not qualify for feats that apply to combat until you reach the appropriate base attack bonus level with your 3-force. They give you free feats like improved 2-weapon fighting. They give it to you as if you are a 3-force character. If you were a full BAB character, you would qualify for improved 2-weapon fighting before level 8. You would apply for it at level 6. You get it effectively 2 levels late. But because they're giving it to you for free, I guess you can't complain.
Christian, I haven't seen anything that you or I can't complain about yet.
That doesn't just apply to Pathfinder. Let's be real. Sometimes it's fun to be a pessimist.
Let me tell you something. My wife really likes that quality in me.
But I'm sure we'll have more to complain about. Caleb, tell me about Stunning Fist here. We're still at level 1. This is all stuff we get at level 1.
You gain Stunning Fist as a bonus feat. You can use it a number of times per day equal to your level, plus an additional time every 4 levels. And you can do more things with this as you level up. So at 4th level, you can make the target instead fatigued. At 8th level, you can make them sicken. At 12th level, you can stagger them. At 16th, you can deafen or blind them. At 20, you can paralyze. Holy crap. Those are all really good. I really like this.
So we have to go over to Stunning Fist real quick, just to double check how that works. So Stunning Fist is actually a really good feat. It has a requirement of having a BAB of +8. So you're getting this at level 1 when normally you'd have to be level 8. Basically, you could declare one of your attacks as a Stunning Fist, and if it connects, they have to make a Fortitude saving throw equal to 10 plus half your character level plus, hey, your Wisdom modifier.
Ew.
If they fail their saving throw, they're stunned for 1 round, or one of the debuffs that you can substitute it for. And stunned people drop their weapons and they're flat-footed, yada yada. And normally you can only use it like once a day, but you can now use it a number of times per day equal to your level. So later in the game, when you're like, level 10 and you get more uses of it, you can make a flurry of blows and declare them all as stunning blows, or they just don't work. It's one of their better abilities.
And definitely very flavorful. I feel like that you hit the pressure points in like an anime. Christian, you know what I'm talking about.
I wish I didn't, but yes, I do. I do know what you're talking. You can open their 7th chakra gate or something, and then they drop the weights they've been wearing, and they're more powerful. I think is how it works. The last thing you get at level 1 is a bonus feat. Monk has their special little list of feats they can get as bonus feats every couple levels, and they ignore the prerequisites for these. And then at 2nd level and every 4 levels thereafter, they gain another bonus feat. This is stuff like Dodge, which is going to give you +1 dodge bonus to your AC, which is fantastic for Monk. This is going to be stuff like Improved Grapple. There's probably other stuff on that list that I'm forgetting, but those are the only 2 I feel like I've ever taken as a Monk, because it's not a good list.
Let's just throw the complicated grapple rules into this whole flurry of blows business.
Imagine, go back. It's 2012. You open up the core rulebook to Monk, and you're like, I want to play a Monk. There's no resources online to tell you how to do this.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine the first Monk.
Well, I like it that they get a bonus feat much like the fighter does, given that these guys are another kind of martial fighter.
I just wish it was a better list. You're kind of forced to take dodge because your AC is pretty garbage at level 1.
It also leads to some other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, at level 1, I'll definitely say this. You feel like a monk. You've got a lot of iconic abilities that distinguish you from just a generic fighter. Not every class can say that.
Yes, I do very much like that about this class. Level 1, you were already hitting the baseline for all of your Mystic Monastery kicking, punching abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So next ability that we get is at level 2, and the monk gets evasion before the rogue. In case you don't know, evasion says if you would succeed a reflex saving throw, and that normally says that means you take half damage. Instead, you take no damage. Awesome. Really good. You got all 3 good saving throws. This synergizes very well. Never complain about having evasion. It's one thing I can't complain about, Caleb. How about you?
No, it's good. The only time I ever heard you complain about it was depending on whether or not it was good at a certain level. But level 3, we're now getting a couple things. One being fast movement. You get a 10-foot movement speed bonus. And every 3 levels, you get an additional 10 up to 60 feet. So you're really zooming around that battlefield, huh?
Yeah, this is something nice to have over the fighter and the barbarian. Although the barbarian does get a little bit of fast movement. Come later levels, you're going to be very mobile across the map. And we'll actually see in a little bit that this synergizes with some of their other abilities. Actually, I'll talk about it now because it's actually pretty cool. Very Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon aesthetics. You get a lot of acrobatic bonuses later as a monk, and there is a stipulation in how far you can jump is limited to your movement speed. So, you're going to have some crazy high acrobatic score as a monk. The fact that fast movement is upping your maximum movement speed means that you can actually leap very, very far. Normally, if you had a 30-foot move speed, that would be the farthest possible distance you could jump, even if you rolled a 40 on acrobatics. And you do have to be unarmored and unencumbered to benefit from fast movement.
You also get maneuver training where you treat your BAB as full for your CMB.
I feel like I've heard this before. Right, Flurry of Blows. They were like, hey, treat your BAB as full BAB. And this ability, hey, treat your BAB as full BAB. Paizo, question. I politely raised my hand, but you didn't pick on me, so I'm saying it out loud. Why don't you just give them full BAB?
Because you're getting Stunning Fist at level 1 instead of level 8. And if you were getting hitting every time with that, you'd win the game.
Oh man, if my martial character was able to hit his melee attacks, that would just really ruin the game, wouldn't it? Like, it's just so frustrating. Every time you read through the monk, you're like, your CMD, oh, treat it as if you're full BAB, and your CMB now, treat it as if you're full BAB, and your Flurry of Blows, treat it as your full BAB, and like, why are we 3/4 of BAB? Why?
Christian, it sounds like you could use a Still Mind, which would give you a +2 bonus on saving throws against enchantment spells and effects. Cool. Don't make me a Stunning Fist my friends.
Or yourself. Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you activating Stunning Fist and hitting yourself? So this is a wisdom-based class. And they just got a +2 against enchantments. Their saving throws are through the roof. Insane. Best saving throws, one of the positives you can bring forth from Monk. And obviously myself, therefore.
Yep.
So level 4 is where we're going to start getting more juicy supernatural stuff. This is where we really come online as the Monk. Level 4, you're going to get... What was that?
Ghost. Are we going to leave in all of our misspeakings today?
So level 4, we're going to get the Ki pool. You gain a pool of supernatural Ki energy that is equal to 1/2 your level plus your wisdom modifier. So if you have 14 wisdom at level 4, you're going to have 4 Ki points per day. As long as you retain a Ki point in your Ki pool, your unarmed strikes gain certain properties. At 4th level, as long as you retain a Ki point, your attacks with your unarmed strikes count as magic. At 7th level, they count as cold iron and silver. That's a little late. At 10th level, they count as lawful, which is neat. That's actually a really cool one. Free lawful on your fist is cool. At 16th level, they count as adamantine. That's also a little late.
But Christian, we have monk weapons that if we really need to get that stuff online as an earlier level, we can do it still.
Caleb, that would be a really good point if money wasn't a finite resource. And you have to make your fists better, and you also have to make your weapons better. And also, this is, when you read this in the book, this ability is very strangely worded. It says you can make a Ki strike, as if like it's something you activate or something you do. It just means like passively, your unarmed strikes have Ki infused with them and they count as magic. Heck, even waiting to level 4 to get magic to your attacks is, I feel, kind of late. What if you encounter a ghost before level 4 as the monk?
Ghost?
Exactly. See, I was foreshadowing.
I see. Oh, wow. You're just a master crafter of stories.
There's more stuff we can do with your Ki pool, though. It's not just that. We got points. We got to spend them. So what can we spend our Ki points on? You can spend them as a swift action to do one of the following. Make 1 additional attack at your highest bonus when doing a flurry of blows. Add some more of those complicated chocolate chips into the cookie mix.
Well, no, that one's pretty simple. You're already doing that number. Just do it twice.
Twice? Oh, only twice, Caleb? I think you're... it's more than twice.
What I mean is you're doing 1 additional attack at your highest bonus, so you just do another one.
If only it were that simple, Caleb.
Christian, you can't just rag on this.
The world isn't that simple,
It is
Caleb.
that simple. It's the one simple. Let's be nice to it when we can be nice to it.
I don't want to be nice.
I can tell. A trait Christian's boyfriend appreciates.
I don't want to be nice. I want to be right.
Oof, too close to home again. Oh, the next one, quick.
You could spend a point as a swift action to increase your movement speed by 20 feet for 1 round, so you're really zooming. And you can spend a point as a swift action to give yourself a +4 dodge bonus to AC until the next round. All of these are good options.
Yeah.
The making 1 additional attack is the really big one.
But I can see scenarios where I'd use all of these. I like how they have, at the beginning, they've put forth a problem. The monk is going to have no armor, so you got to do something about the AC, and they're throwing in all these things to affect the AC to give you a chance with that. I like that. Some things are just like, oh, it's just your downside and just what it is. We never touch it ever again. Here, they let you interact with it. That's cool. It's good design. Now, you also get this level, Slow Fall. As long as the monk is within arm's reach of a wall, they treat falls as 20 feet shorter. And at 20th level, they can fall any distance, I assume, without getting hurt.
Weird flex, but okay, I guess.
No, it's cool. It's still like, I guess it'd say stick your dagger in, but at this point, your hand in, you're slowing, you're down. Very anime. I like it a lot.
The Mega Man X, yeah. I mean, I
yes,
get it.
Yes, the Mega Man X, yes!
I get it, but like verticality is kind of hard to, I feel like, put into your game in such a way this will work. I find, like, actually think about the times you think this would actually apply. Like, this would apply in a very classic dungeon crawler where you fall down a spiked pit and you put your hand on the wall. Sure. But, like, in actuality, like, you're gonna have to think real hard to try and find situations where this is going to be useful whatsoever. It's 20 feet.
Christian, can I disagree with you?
Shorter.
I'd like to disagree with you. Let me disagree with you.
Can I say no?
I mean, you can, but I'm not going to listen to you. When you have a character here who's really designing a lot of movement and stuff, and later on they're going to get some jumping abilities, if you mess up, if you miss, or even if you're successful, but you still got to come down, it's nice to have a built-in feature here where every time I'm jumping up to flying kick something in the air, like I'm Raiden, hands forward, I don't immediately fall and take 30 damage for falling.
Yeah, but it also requires your DM to be like, oh, and there's a pillar here, and there's a wall here, and there's a ledge up here, and I've made a 3D map, guys.
Oh, come on, Christian.
Here, like, I think in actuality, like, verticality is difficult to articulate. It's difficult to show on a battle map. I think this sounds much more useful than it actually is. But to that, I would just say to the DM to, like, just be a little gracious with the application of this. Mm-hmm. Just say, like, yes, there's something within reach for you to do that with. If they ask if there's something in reach, say, yeah, there's something you can activate this ability on. Because I think if you're like, by the numbers, just running something and you didn't specifically design it around this ability, it's something that's, Prince of Persia sounds cool, sounds fun, but in actuality, it's hard to actually utilize. And I'm so happy that 16 levels later, it gets better. Nothing in between. It can't go up like 10 feet every couple of levels. We got, just dead stop, level 20. Okay, fall any distance. There's nothing in between. It's either 20 feet or every feet ever.
Well, here's some good news. You can always make an acrobatics check to lower that even further.
A little bit. A little bit. But speaking of acrobatics check, level 5, we got high jump. This is one of the cool abilities that monks gets. This is the one I was alluding to with the jumping. You add your monk level to all acrobatics checks to jump. You always count as having a running start for your jumps, and as a swift action, you could spend 1 key point to get a plus 20 to your acrobatics checks to jump.
Very nice.
Now, first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to complain. The ability is called high jump, but you heard me correctly. It doesn't only apply to high jumps. It applies to all jumps. Long jumps, high jumps, low jumps. It's all acrobatics checks.
Sorry, what's the
I don't
last
know why
one
the
there?
class keeps lying to me. They told me it was a 3-force BAB class. It's not. They told me it was high jump. It's not high jump.
They told me I can't use weapons. All of a sudden, I'm hitting people with nunchucks. You're right, they're lying to us. I think this is cool, though, man. Everything you could spend your key points on are all, like, competitive.
You get to be cool 4 times a day. Good job. Nice moves. Oh, one of the really cool applications of this, though, that I very much like, you can basically use this to ignore difficult terrain. If there's difficult terrain between you and an enemy, you can just say, okay, I jump. You count as having a running start. You probably have a good acrobatics check if you need to spend a key point, and you could just jump over the difficult terrain. No need to take any items or any feats that allow you to move through difficult terrain more easily.
Level 6, we're also getting Purity of Body. You gain immunity to all diseases, including magical and supernatural ones. Wow, that last little caveat's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can say that this one, though, isn't very realistic. I got COVID, so this one isn't real. It shouldn't be part of the monk class.
Oh, Christian. You're dating our podcast.
You should still wear a mask, Monk. I know you say you're immune to all diseases, but I'm not just going to take your word for it. Please.
Stop. Veto. Abort.
You know, they're only 5 foot squares in the battle map, so I'm going to need you to stay at least 2 squares away from me, because I don't know exactly how far you are.
Wind shear.
But yeah, no, the word immunity, always lovely to see. Love being immune to stuff. Just make a flashcard, and when your DM says anything to you that's a disease, just hold up the immunity card and point to it.
And you were talking about the rogue earlier. It's nice to have a different, niche. The rogue, I'm immune to or get better saves against poisons. And here, it's about diseases.
And the monk's gonna get a few things along this line. So this isn't just like a one-time thing. We're gonna see like that perfection of body, that purity is going to carry forward from here on out.
Level 7, we get wholeness of body. As a standard action, you can spend 2 key points to heal yourself a number of hit points equal to your monk level. Again, spending key points. Each of these are good options.
Caleb, what'd you say?
I said it was a good option. What?
2 key points. So level 7, let's be generous. You have 6 key points. You spend 2 key points to heal yourself. How many hit points here, Caleb?
7.
7 hit points. 7. You can count that with just 2 hands.
You were going to once say one-handed, I know it.
I was. I will admit that.
Well,
Do you
that's
know how many
fine.
hit points you would have around level 7?
A lot.
A lot. Yeah, more than 7. A lot more than 7 at least. I think we found it. Dude, I think we found it. 4 years, like 150 episodes. We found the worst ability in the game.
But I said it was good. Embarrassing.
I'm making a plaque. I am pinning it to the monk's body. Wholeness of body has to be the worst ability ever. Especially, not just in a vacuum, it's terrible. Compared to what you could be spending those key points on, doesn't even belong in a dumpster fire. What is worse than that? Put it elsewhere. The dumpster fire is too nice for wholeness of body.
I think anytime somebody wants to discredit me about my knowledge of Pathfinder, they're going to bring up this moment right here. Caleb said literally the worst ability in Pathfinder was a competitive use of key points. Cool. So guess what? I don't care what you have to say about Unchained versus Chained. Deleted. The podcast, unsubscribe.
Guess what? This doesn't make it to Unchained. Surprise, surprise. Someone read this and was like, wait, 7 hit points?
Still very flavorful sitting there, like striking a pose and healing your own wounds.
What, a JoJo pose? What sense does this even make?
Level 9 Christian.
No, hang on. Wait, Caleb, I need to really talk down this more. At level 20, okay. How much would this heal if I use this ability as a standard action?
20 points. Stop laughing at me.
Say it again, Caleb.
20 points.
20 hit points at level 20. What were we doing?
Well, Christian, here's a good use of it. You're out of combat. No one has healing. Mm-hmm. You have few healing and people are already using it. You don't need to worry about the standard action. Okay, you just spend all your points to, say you're level 7. You have what we say, how many key points do you think you'd have at level 7? Let's see. Half your level plus your wisdom modifier. Let's just assume it's 2. So 5. 5 times 7 is math. 35?
Well, hang on. It's 2 key points.
Oh, you're right. I'm just
so what's that math? What's that math line up to there, Caleb?
21 points. So in between battle with...
Wait, you only had 5 points. So you can only use it twice. 2 times 7 is 14.
Yeah, this is why you shouldn't do math live. I'm glad.
Maybe this is why you thought it was a good ability. You don't know what numbers are, Caleb.
So you heal 14 when healing's scarce. I don't know. There's still a use to it. But fine, no. It's not good. You win.
No.
You win. Fine. Why don't you tell me we're going to get it at level 9 so I stop getting laughed at?
At level 9, we get improved evasion before the rogue, which is you will only ever take half damage from failed reflex saving throws. Amazing.
Are you mad
Absolutely
that
great.
The monk gets this first?
No, I'm mad that the rogue gets it late. The class that is the poster child for evasion.
Are they though? I think monk is just at, if not more, about the dodging and stuff. They can't even wear armor. Freaking rogues wear armor. The monk is all about dodging.
And the rogue has to take advanced rogue talent to get it. The monk just gets it for free.
Level 11 diamond body gain immunity all poisons. Take that, rogue.
The immunity is real nice. As I said, never gonna complain about immunity. Immunity is such a good word.
You're not gonna complain that, this is a rogue thing.
It's not. In fact, I didn't want to like call you out, Caleb, but now I have to because you brought it up. What are you talking about? Rogues don't get immunity to poison.
No, don't they get a resistance to poisons? When they poison their own weapon, they can't even poison themselves.
Yeah, they can't poison themselves. Wait, that's not even a built-in rogue thing. That's like I think that's a rogue talent you have to take.
Right. First off, always call me out because I don't want to give people false information.
But we need to finish the podcast at some point, Caleb.
How
we
dare
can't just
you?
keep going.
Let me look this up. Give me a second. I swear they didn't poison themselves.
Newsflash from 2 years ago, Caleb. Rogue's bad and misleading.
Oh, maybe it was a rogue talent. Oh, man. Well, always call me out, Christian, but is that just like a rogue talent or something?
What, to not poison yourself? It might even be an archetype. I don't even think it's a rogue talent. I think it's literally an archetype. Or maybe even, it might be a prestige class. I think it's a prestige class.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know where the heck I'm getting that from.
So now a monk can just lather poison on their fists and knees. Tell everyone it's just, a soothing lotion, and they're fine. They can just absorb it and punch people. I wonder if there's anything explicitly in the rules that says you can't just pour poison on your fists and then knock someone out. But next ability we're going to get is called Abundant Step. This is a really cool monk ability. Probably one of the coolest. You can spend 2 key points as a move action to use Dimension Door as a spell-like ability. Dimension Door being a short-range teleport ability. Anywhere between like 40 and I think up to 400 feet you can teleport with Dimension Door depending on level. First, that's already great in and of itself. You're getting a spell. Spells are good. 2 key points. It's only a move action. But not only can you do this now the monk can start taking the feats that involve Dimension Door. There's a lot of feats that say after you teleport, you can attack. During your teleport, you can attack. If you attack after teleporting, you can be counting as flanking with yourself. Stuff like that. It's a little late in the game, level 12, to start dumping feats into something like that. If you wanted to go for the Dimensional Dervish, this is a valid way to do it. I can't do this. I don't think I'm level 12.
You'll get there one day, Christian. I'm going to assume you're not at immunity to all poisons either yet, but we can test it.
That's a good idea. I don't think I have wholeness of body, but I don't want it, and I would probably just block it out if I did, so I'm not sure about the level 7 check mark, but I think I have improved evasion.
At level 13, you get Diamond Soul. You gain spell resistance equal to 10 plus your monk level. To risk Christian making fun of me, isn't that on par with like a dragon spell resistance?
It's pretty good. That's good.